Yo, what New Year's resolutions does everyone have?
I got so many.
Last
so
week,
many.
we talked about Charlie's resolution to not swear as much a few years ago.
I gave up on that. I haven't tried that again.
Not trying to test your luck again.
Do you have any resolutions this year?
This year? Yeah.
Yeah.
I try and set them every year. I never did before like 4 years ago. And then 4 years ago when I was like 260 pounds and felt bad, I was like, bro, we're going to New Zealand in like 4 months. I'm going to drop down to 210 and did it. And so it was like, man, New Year's resolutions really work. I'm going to do these every year. And then the next year was to travel more, then pick up climbing. And I've done all of those every time. The one I have for this year is finish going to all 50 states.
How many have you been to?
47.
And which ones haven't you been to?
So not including territories, of course. The ones I haven't been to are North Dakota, Minnesota, and Wisconsin.
So much to see. So much to do.
I'm actually excited about Minnesota and Wisconsin.
So what's wrong with taking the back streets?
You never know if you don't go.
Oh, I like go.
So that's probably the number one, but that's the one I'm most excited for.
Going to those 3 states?
Finish going to 50. Not necessarily the 3 that I'm going to. I am excited for Minnesota and Wisconsin, though. There's some dope stuff there.
Damn, sorry, North Dakota.
I don't know anything.
All I wrote down was abs. That's all I wrote down. So I've been working a desk job for the last year or 2. And it's kind of a new thing for me because I've been working in restaurants since I was 14. And restaurant jobs, you're on your feet all day.
Yeah.
So I've been working a desk job for the last year. And physically, I'm like at my lowest I've ever been. So I want to get back in shape. Anyway, that's me.
That's fun. Every year for the past like 6 years, I spend January thinking about my New Year's resolution. So I don't really have one yet. So I'm procrastinating. I've procrastinated every year, but I've always come out with something, and I've done a pretty good job.
What was last year then?
Yeah.
So every year, oh man, I think I'm going to switch it up because for the past like 6 years, I hate this because it's actually like, it's not that yours aren't real, but it's okay. So the past 6 years, all my New Year's resolutions have just been like focusing on one attribute to be better at.
Okay.
So 1 year was optimism. 3 days later, after I chose that, I broke my leg.
Is that the infamous story?
The one where my foot's pointing the other direction.
Oh, maybe you should tell that.
Okay. That year. So I chose optimism. 3 days later, I'm going to my friend's house just to go hang out. And it's in Provo. And I'm longboarding to his house. You've never seen me on a longboard.
Ever since I've known DJ,
scared,
he hates longboards.
I'm scared of it because of that experience. And I feel like I've lost a lot of my sense of balance.
Dang.
From that. Anyway, it was January. January is the coldest month in Utah. And typically that's when there's the most snow. So it's snowing. There are patches of ice here and there. The roads are still okay. Like, there's not ice everywhere. I just had to watch out, but I wasn't. It was nighttime, and I was texting while I was...
Bro, my sympathy is gone.
I know. Well, I was asking for it, so I'm not asking for any sympathy. I was asking for the injury. But I just hit this huge... There was this crack in the road that was like 1.5 inches high that I didn't see because I wasn't paying attention, and I just fell funky. I planted one foot on the ground while I was falling, and my whole body turned while my foot stayed in place.
Was it a compound fracture? Like bones sticking out of flesh?
No, it was not a compound fracture, but I was close to the sidewalk. So like I knew my foot was broken, but I didn't see it. I was like crawling on my knees and elbows, which was easy because my foot was facing the other direction. So it wasn't like dragging. I didn't know that yet though, but I knew my foot was broken, and I was like kind of like on all fours crawling to the sidewalk, and I get like on this grass portion of the sidewalk, and I'm on all fours. And in that time, somebody across the street who was walking home from campus to their apartment or something, like heard that but didn't really see. He looks and then he sees me crawling on the ground, so he like kind of like hurries up to me, and he's like in front of me. He can't see my foot, and he's like, "Bro, are you okay?" And for like a minute straight, and it felt longer, but for a minute straight, I was just over and over again. And he doesn't know what's wrong. He just sees this dude on all fours, like sounding like he's in pain. And then it gets to the point where he like almost starts laughing at me. And he's like, "Dude, what's the matter?" And then I'm just not really paying attention to him because I'm just like trying to process all of it. And then finally, I realize that he's asking me a question.
And you're probably in shock.
Yeah, I haven't answered him yet. So he's like, "What's going on?" So I like roll over to my back and I lift my leg up and I say, "Look at it!" And he screams and he's like, "Oh!"
Because your foot's completely turned around.
And he calls the ambulance, and it's right outside this apartment building called Liberty Square. And
Shout out.
I really wish I just like thought of calling a friend. I even had a friend who lived at Liberty
ambulance
Square.
is expensive.
Yeah, it ended up costing like a few $1,000s.
Yeah.
But yeah, ambulance picked me up as they loaded me on the stretcher, and as they were putting me inside, like the bright lights from the ambulance was like lighting up the neighborhood, and I could see like the apartment building, and it's like 3 or 4 stories. Liberty Square is a well-known apartment complex in Provo, and like all the kids in their windows are like looking out the window, just watching me. And as I'm going on the stretcher, I like thumbs up, and everybody like thumbs up at me. And yeah, they had to pop my foot back into place that night. They're like, "We need to pop this back into place and then do surgery."
So it was a broken leg plus the dislocation.
That and a bunch of torn ligaments. So
My
they put a
gosh.
plate and some screws in my leg, and I still have that now. But yeah, they're like, if we don't pop it back into place now, it's just going to keep swelling up, and it's going to make surgery a lot harder and longer. So we can't give you anesthetics right now because we can't if we give you anesthetics, we're going to have to wait for it to settle, so you get numb. By that point, your leg's going to be too numb or too swollen for us to even pop it back into place. So we have to do it right now. And like, I was so dead set on being optimistic that I was like, I laughed and I was like, "Okay, cool, yeah,
Go for it, boss.
I was like, let's do it." And he cracked in place, and a small tear came out of my eye, and I'm laughing. I was like, "Okay." We
Tear
did
of
it.
optimism.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doc.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. So I don't know. Years following.
So what are you asking for
I've
this
been
year?
Cautious to choose my attribute to work on.
Dude, he was like, humility. I
should
think
work
this year.
on-
We're like, no.
Work on pessimism, dude. Work on being poor.
Yeah. you can game this system, dog. That's funny.
Look at it.
That's the funniest
What I
part.
screamed at him. Yeah, that part's pretty funny every time I think
You
of
ever-
it. I don't remember the kid, never got his contact info.
He's going to write in his scary story one day and just be like this psychopath with a foot turned around. I try to shove his
Thought
nub
it
in
was
my
The
face.
Exorcist?
Yeah.
This kid is somewhere, and he's told this story to groups of people multiple times. I know for sure.
Just shocked.
He has to have.
Yeah.